So in this video, I'll be discussing how to solve quadratic equations by taking the square root. The standard for this lesson is MGSE 9-12.A.REI.4b, which states that we will use the method of completing the square to transform any quadratic equation in x into an equation of the form x minus p squared equals q that has the same solutions. Derive the quadratic formula from ax squared to bx plus c equals 0. The first example that we will be trying is 4x squared minus 64 equals 0. I apologize. Let me try to rewrite this in a neater format. So the first step is to add 64. The purpose of this is to get the variable 4x squared by itself. So because you did that, now you have 4x squared equals 64. The next step would be to get x by itself altogether. So to do this, you will divide it by 4, both sides by 4, because what you do to one side you must do to the other. So because of this, you should have x squared equals 16. Next, you have to take away the square from the variable, and in order to do this, I will use the inverse operation by taking the square root of both sides, x squared and 16. The square root of x squared is x, and the square root of 16 is 4. Though 4 is also a perfect square, I decided to just keep it at 4. So now after you do that, you will do x equals plus and minus 4, so you can have the positive and negative values, and that will be your answer. The next problem that we'll be doing will be a little bit more difficult. The problem is 4x plus 1 squared minus 8 equals 0. So we will add 8 on both sides in order to cancel out the 8, aka the constant. So that will now be 4x plus 1 squared equals 8. So now we're trying to get rid of the square from the 4x plus 1. So in order to do that, you will use the inverse operation once again, and you will do a square root of that on both sides. So now you have 4x plus 1 equals, and the square root of 8 is 2 square root of 2. So the next step is to write 4x plus 1 equals plus or minus 2 to the square root of 2. And the reason why I use the positive, the plus and minus, is because it represents the positive and negative values. And so that should be your answer.